town in Uasin Gishu County. Remember, today it's a Super Sunday. Earlier on in the morning, it was all about Eldoret, the 4th edition of the Eldoret City Marathon, and later on we will be taking a look at what to expect when Liverpool takes on Manchester City in the English Premier League. That is the biggest game of the weekend. But before we do so, we want to take a look at the results from athletics this morning. That was in the Eldoret City Marathon, and Victor Rotich successfully became the first man to successfully defend the Eldoret City Marathon. He won his race in a time of 2 hours, 13 minutes and 10 seconds. That was ahead of Michael Mutai and Bet Josephat, who finished second and third respectively. Let's take a look at the highlights from that race.
Till 35 kilometers. Kwa sababu nilikuwa na injury. So nilikuwa na chupa hii. Sikia hapa kwa kuwin mara ya pili leo. And naambia athlete wenzangu wasikupe moyo, maybe nakisikia nichanisha tena.
Now, on the ladies' side, we had Emily Chebet emerging the winner of this year's marathon. This was ahead of Shailin Jepkorir, who finished second, as Jelagat Lilian emerged in the third place, completing the podium positions. Of course, congratulations to the winners of both the men and women's marathon. Right about now, I want to speak to a man that is not stranger to athletics. He's a legend when you talk about athletics. That is Boniface Tirena. Good afternoon, Boniface. Welcome to Scoreline. How are you?
Fine, thank you, Mr. Okinyi. Thank you very much. And I want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, let's talk about the 4th edition of Eldoret City Marathon. From what you saw today, what can you comment about it?
In the first place, I just wanted to say, first of all, may I take this opportunity to thank the organizers and the sponsors. Having in mind the history of the championship, we've come a long way. I want to say that actually they've picked, and I want to say where they're headed is going to now be classified as a major marathon. Yes.
This is a race that for the first time we've had someone defend their title. What did you make of his running, the tactics that he used today?
In the first place, may I, of course, from your own, even your own knowledge, you know what we've had as a country and the entire world. Victor Kipchirchir knew the route very well. He knew the task ahead of him, and he knows the challenges facing everybody financially. So the only thing now, he worked for this race, and he knew very well that he has to defend it to make history. Apart from actually getting what he's been given today, definitely he knows very well that he had to defend and make history. And history has been made today.
Yes, and of course on the women's side, we had Emily Chebet winning that, and I think she was making a debut, and she managed, to fend off Shailin to come to the finish line.
I want to say in the first place, Emily Chebet, as you have just mentioned, this is a debut. It is very true. She's come a long way as a junior. She has graduated running at 3,000, going now up to 10,000. Now she has graduated now to marathon. Where she comes from, that is in Londiani. And this particular place, the altitude is similar. And I am sure her mind were focused in this particular race. And you can see, if you can have a look at people going to Europe, in this case, they almost get almost similar amount. So people think actually it's important to raise actually at home, and of course get this fortune that was here today. So for me, I want to comment on her.
Yes. And what does the future hold when you take a look at, the organization that is here and the type of athletes that are coming to take part in this race?
In the first place, in my own view, I could have loved to see, one, if this race want to be equated with the races like Boston or London, the organizers must go an extra mile by ensuring that the top runners, are attracted in this particular race.
Yes.
Maybe coming out now, maybe with what you call appearance money, and I think that is going to actually to match the Boston, the London, and number two, when there's, like for example, at the start point, they should have the pre-race competitors. Like for example, now Victor today,
yes,
she could have actually been identified about 10 or 5 that these are the favorites, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think that's going to be actually to be seen like what London, what Chicago is doing, what Berlin is doing, and as you've just mentioned, what holds for this particular race are several factors. One, remember, we have an upcoming race called the Uhuru Classic.
Yes.
And this one now, and the Standard Chartered, and others. So Athletics Kenya must sit with all the race organizers and then program in such a way that there will be no conflict. They will not clash. For example, if today we are having, we are on 10th of April,
yes,
we're having the Eldoret City Marathon.
Yes.
And maybe next month we're having the Uhuru Classic.
Yes.
Definitely, it will either this one will be affected or the other one. And remember, the kind of money, the size of potato they are putting in the Classic,
yes,
and here now, definitely now, that one is going to make some at least some of these races, organizers,
yes,
to go extra mile to get the money so that they can attract the athletes. Yes.
Yes. Let's talk briefly about the course. And remember, this course was the course measurer is Ibrahim Hussein, a former Boston Marathon champion. He's in the New York Marathon, New York Runners Marathon Hall of Fame. When you have such a person designing the course and being the person measuring the course, what does it mean? One,
in the first place, we follow the rules of World Athletics to the latter. In the first place, Ibrahim Hussein, to certify this race, he himself, first of all, is an international measurer level B. And that is why this race now,
yes,
will be recognized, because the measurer he measured the race, he certified the race, and that's why he was following, he was actually ahead of the athletes all the time.
Yes.
What was he trying to protect? Protect the integrity of the race, protect increasing the value,
yes,
to this particular race. So for this case, this race has been added value by, let me mention two. One, the race organizer, who is, when Boston was celebrating 100 years, he was invited and he won.
Yes.
Ibrahim Hussein won, the measurer now, won 3 times.
Yes.
And also another point, top runners, including the man being rated to be no other marathon than him, that is Eliud Kipchoge, who is the ambassador of the race.
Yes.
So that alone has added value to this particular race.
Yes.
So I would have loved to see that come next time.
Yes.
We only saw elite runners running. And we also saw in the fun run,
yes,
the number was a little bit, for the fun run was a little bit low. But if you can now involve the community, like the Boston, like the London, I think we shall be somewhere. I hope the Uhuru Classic will be the first one to start, and then definitely Eldoret and others will follow suit.
Well, thanks a lot, legendary coach Boniface Tiren, for your insights on what happened today on the 4th edition of the Eldoret City Marathon. Right about now, I want us to listen in to what the race director, who's also the founder of the race, Moses Tanui, what he had to say about today's race.
Pema ya kwamba Kipchirchir atakuja kudefend title yake ningekataa. Lakini yeye ni mwanariadha mzuri. Yeye ni mwanariadha shupavu, na mimi nimepea heshima zangu zote kwa sababu defend. You know, to break your defending champion is for me it is something that is great. MPO ni sisi wenyewe ndio tunafanya organization na community ya Eldoret. So Kipchoge ni ambassador wetu wa Eldoret City Marathon na amepata nafasi na ametenga nafasi wakati wa leo kuja kukaa na sisi. Mzee Kipchoge, unajua yeye ni legend, yeye ni mzee, wewe ni mtu wa kufungua mlango mara ya kwanza. So tunafuata nyayo zake. Unakumbuka wakati Nyayo alikuwa anasema fuata Nyayo. Huyo mzee tunafuata nyayo yake. Kila mwanariadha Kenya, hata wakati nilikuwa mdogo, nilikuwa nasema nataka kukimbia kama yeye. Hii race ama Eldoret City Marathon ina grow na sponsors wetu. Unajua KTN ama Standard Media Group, Eldoret, wana sponsors wetu wenye wamekuja na kusupport sisi. Kwanza ningependa kusema ya kwamba wale tulianza na hawa na washukuru sana kwa roho yangu yote, because wamekaa na sisi hata wakati ya corona, wakati ya shida wamekaa na sisi, na ningependa kusema ya kwamba asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki na awalinde na awaongezee ili mwaka
Race Director Moses Tanui speaking right there at the end of today's marathon. We also had, former athletes, coming out to motivate the athletes that were taking part in this marathon. And right about now, I want us to listen in to what athletics legend here in Kenya, Kipchoge Keino, had to say.
Tunasema asante kwa mbio ya leo. Watoto wamefanya kazi nzuri, ndio tunasherekea. Tunatakia heri njema, wafanye hii na waendelee kufanya vizuri. Kuna vijana wengi ambao wanaweza kufanya vizuri katika mbio ya marathon, na tunatakia heri njema hawa wafanye vizuri na wafanye mazoezi ili waweke jina ya Eldoret Marathon juu sana. Zamani tulifanya vizuri na tunatarajia hawa wamefanya vizuri. Tunaona wanajaribu. Mazoezi yao inaenda ile vizuri sana ambayo tunafikiri, tuna matumaini wataweka jina ya Kenya juu na jina hapa Eldoret juu.
Well, that is the legendary Kipchoge Keino speaking right there. And also, aside from Kipchoge Keino, world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge was in attendance. Ahmed Bahaj had a chance of speaking to him, and these are the wise words that he had to today's participants.
Nafurahishwa, niko na furaha kwa vile vijana na sema wasichana kwa wamama kwa wapapa wapile wamekimbia ama wanaume kwa wanawake. Sport is about peace. Sport is about unity. That's why I always say let us actually be peaceful in this world. Let us think together. I urge everybody, we have 100 days to go for the general election. Let us vote in a wise way and enjoy voting, and life will continue.
Well, that is world marathon record holder Eliud Kipchoge speaking right there. Remember, this year he was in Tokyo Marathon where he also won that race. Now, we also spoke to some of the participants and also the sponsors and partners of this race as to why they decided, to be part of the 4th edition of Eldoret City Marathon.
So we are part of this because we believe in nurturing talent. We've been in volleyball that we sponsor in this region. We are also part of the athletics team that is sponsoring. Again, ukiangalia historia yetu, every event yenye iko na athletics, tumekuwa as Amaco. We have forums that we have talked to individuals. By the way, most of the runners are our insured. We have shown them the importance of insuring whatever they get, because running has a lifespan that is shorter. Retirement period for athletics is very short. If you get an injury that will make you not run, that will be the end of your career.
Of course, congratulations to the winners of the 4th edition of Eldoret City Marathon. Now, let's move away from athletics. We get into some golf action, and Anika Patel